be a great night tonight.
How can you not be romantic about football?
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
This is the Mazz and Bads Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.
After a long break, we are finally back, gentlemen. Episode 24, live from Casa de Mazz, Bads, and Cafone. You already know what it is. We back with another one. I apologize, fellas. I was sick my entire birthday weekend. Couldn't even get out of bed the entire week. Took me like a week and a half to actually celebrate the damn thing. I was barely alive for Christmas and then the rest of the holidays. And we're finally back, gentlemen. I've missed you. Chucky, how you doing, buddy?
Maz, missed you too. I mean, it was a long, lonely Christmas without you. No pod, no nothing. It was tough, but glad you're back in the fold. Amazing to have Mr. Producer Anthony Cafone back in the fold with us, and a happy and healthy New Year's Eve to you guys.
And how was your Christmas, buddy?
We had a good Christmas this year, guys. Got some good things. Got some golf accessories for the upcoming
Let's go.
season. Ready to go. Charlie, we're gonna be hitting the link soon. But Maz, your birthday, we definitely glossed over that. How old you turned today?
Back on December 18th, my friend, I hit the big 2-7. I am
Okay.
3 years away from 30. It is starting to sink in. This is not how I thought life would go. I have no clue what the hell I'm doing anymore. But you know what? 6 basketball games for the New Year's jump off tomorrow, baby. High school basketball. So at least I'm still grinding, still hitting the podcast, still living the dream, but I'd hate to see the damn nightmare.
That's bars right there. Those are some bars.
That was bars. I have not heard "Hate to See the Nightmare." That's heat. I'm gonna start using that one.
Yeah. I think I got to give credit. Our old athletic director at Hopac on High used to be a former MLB pitcher. Shout out my man Chris Bugslovsky, aka Bugs. First time I ever heard that, and I absolutely had to steal that. Haven't heard that phrase in quite some time, but fellas, you know what I did have to celebrate though? Kiara got me this awesome hat right here. Shout out Prosciutto Poppy and its content, fellas. You ready for this? This came in the pack when you buy it, right? Tommy Guardiola, Prosciutto Poppy, with a handwritten message saying, Tommy and Prosciutto Poppy here. Thank you for grabbing our merch and supporting us as content creators. You're officially a part of its content family. Make sure you post this merch on all your social channels and tag both of them. And of course, it's at contents. We will repost all content. Thank you again. And remember, at the end of the day, it's content. Signed and delivered right there. So, fellas, of course, I'm a bum. I've had this hat came a little late. Shout out Kiara Payne for the overnight shipping. Love her to death. But came like 2 days after Christmas, I believe. And of course, me being the slacker that I am, I have not posted anything. So we should definitely post this episode and try to boost it up. Maybe they'll repost the episode.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
Prosciutto Poppy, you should hop right on that.
I am not the prosciutto poppy. I mean, I can be a prosciutto poppy with being half Italian, but that's the real prosciutto poppy right there. And I'll tell you, these guys two are the funniest guys on the damn internet. Them and Lil Mo Mozzarella. Nobody move. Nobody gets hurt. How you doing? I love it. I absolutely love it. I got the pistoli right here. Those guys crack me the hell up.
Yeah, I've never once heard of those guys ever
Are
in my
you
life.
kidding
Yeah,
me?
never, not once.
Dude, your algorithm is shot. Charlie, you got to embrace the Italian side more. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
You know me though. I'm more of a Nicky Cass kind of guy. Nick Casano.
Do you remember? You
Coach
remember
Al.
when Nicky Cass was on Montclair State?
Well, he went to
He was
Montclair.
going there while we were he was attending there. We were at the baseball game, and you were like, "Oh, let's go meet Nicky Cass." I go, "Oh, my son want to meet Nicky Cass? I'll take him to go meet
No,
Nicky
so
Cass."
I was nervous to like go up to him because like at that time he was not super popular that he is now, but like he was
He was
popping.
popping.
He was popping. He was creating some good content on the air, and I was like, I want to go meet him. I like his whole sketches. I don't want to like go up to him and be like, "Yo, I'm a big fan." I don't want to be like that kind of guy because he's watching a baseball game. But Mazz gave me the confidence. He goes, "My son wants to go see Nicky Cass. We're gonna go see Nicky Cass." And you know what? We went up to him. I got a picture with him. You got a picture with him too, right, Mazz?
Yeah, I think we took it together, didn't we? Did
We
I
took
ever
we took
post it? Absolutely
No, I
not.
never posted. I don't post that much to
I
social
don't
media.
post anything,
Me
dude.
neither.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
suck
we
at
need
that.
we need a social media manager over here because I'm a bum. I don't know what I'm doing.
Maz,
So
I
many
am
things
the
that we could have
social
posted.
media manager.
Well, yeah, but Charlie, you're busy. We need like somebody like full time dedicated. This is all I want to do is look at Instagram. If people even use Twitter and X anymore, I don't know, Facebook, whatever the hell, you know. We need somebody that like eats, sleeps, and breathes social media. It's not me. It's
Too
not
bad
me.
nobody wants to do that for free, right?
Yeah, I come on, guys. Internships, real world experience. That's what it's all about. But fellas, we got to get to the news. Biggest thing going on right now. There's a big debate for the MVP race. Chucky, what do you got for us?
Yeah. I mean, before we get into that, this past week has been just an absolute fantastic time for football. I mean, you go back to last Wednesday with our Christmas doubleheader, Thursday night football. No games on Friday, but Saturday we had 3 games, and then of course the full slate on Sunday. Lions and Niners having a fireworks show last night, and now these next 2 days we get the college football playoffs. Boise State and Penn State tonight, New Year's Eve in Arizona, and then of course the 3 other games tomorrow. But yeah, I'm just it's been a magical time to be a football fan. I'm sure you guys can agree with me there.
Uh,
But of
Even
course,
so, right this second, last I checked, Bama was getting slammed down in their bowl game against Michigan. I mean, strip sack, a fumbled snap,
oof.
interception. Last I checked in that first quarter, Michigan's average starting field position was from the Alabama 21. That's how much they were dominating that game. So, go Big Blue. I don't root for them often, but against Bama, I will.
Jalen Milrow might end up going back to Bama for another year after a game like that. But I guess we'll see in the coming weeks. But obviously, right now, the biggest storyline coming out of the NFL right now is the MVP dogfight between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Both these guys having really incredible seasons. I mean, a few things you can say about both guys is easily the best player on the team. The focal point of the offense. Everything runs through them. And what they've been able to accomplish this year is just so impressive, considering Lamar, who won MVP last year, is able to follow up his season last year with an even better one. And then, of course, Josh Allen, the expectations coming into this season weren't as high, but they end up having the same kind of season they always do. 13 wins right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and doing it without Stephon Diggs. So both guys absolutely have a case. I know you can sprinkle Saquon Barkley into the mix there. He just hit 2K this past weekend, but it's looking like he's not going to be touching Dickerson's record because the Eagles aren't going to play guys this weekend. So the MVP is going to come down to Lamar and Josh. Maz, as of right now, who would be your pick?
So it's kind of hard. I'm still a little salty about last year. A lot of salty, I should say. Lamar deserves his first MVP. I did not think that he should have got last year's, as we all know. We don't need to touch on that much. Just what Josh Allen has been able to do with the current roster around him. Amari Cooper not even having as big as an impact as I thought that he was going to. He's been banged up and very streaky. I mean, Shakir being their best wide receiver right now. Not even a top 30 receiver in the NFL this season due to statistics. James Cook, I know, is a top 10 running back, but he's not Derrick Henry. I think that defense is definitely overplaying than what anybody thought of they could. And I think the entire team has just, unless you're a diehard Bills fan who just no matter what, that is my team and I'm rocking with them. Everybody else looked at this squad and went, oh man, I think they're taking a step back. They're definitely going to be third in that division. Sitting right on top, only 2 losses, and one of the losses was to the Ravens, which is a great team right now. I mean, they're red hot, and Lamar, thanks to Derrick Henry opening up and his natural given ability, has just hit another level. But I think for me personally, just for the expectations, just the roster around it, and winning clearly matters as we looked at last year. The stats don't nobody gives a damn apparently. I think it has to be Josh Allen for me personally, but Lamar is having a season like we've never seen before as well. Shout him out.
So I'll preface it with the same thing you did. With is I agree with you. Dak Prescott should have been the MVP last year because of those. He had a better individual season than Josh Allen. And I'm using that same logic this year because Lamar's numbers are better than Josh Allen's this year. That's point number one for me. Number two, beat him head to head. And number three, the thing that keeps bothering me the most is one of the things you keep hearing, getting hit over the head with repeatedly over and over again is Lamar has Derrick Henry, and that's what is so good about making him so good this season. But what people keep leaving out is that Derrick Henry is also having a career year in terms of yards per carry, yards after contact, and yards before contact. So you can't sit there and say, oh, because Lamar has Derrick Henry, he's having this career year, when really it should be the other way around. Because of Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry is having a career year. And Mazz, I know, the past few days we've been going back and forth with this in our group chat and texting about it over and over again. But you have to give credit both ways where credit's due, because not necessarily one thing can't be true without the other. But I think, considering that Derrick Henry's on the wrong side of 30 years old, going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's having the best year of his career right now, that to me is more the storyline rather than Derrick Henry giving Lamar his career year.
So, but here's the thing though, Chucky. It's a great year for Derrick Henry. It is not the best year that he's ever had.
In those categories I listed to you, it is his best in his entire career.
Not touchdown, not yards.
I didn't say that.
I'm just saying those are the stats that matter for running backs, though, right? He's had better years in Tennessee when he was younger, right? He's doing exactly what he does of hitting that over 1,500 yard mark. He's one of the best running backs that we've ever seen. And I'm not going to say that Lamar Jackson in that passing game and Lamar's dual threat ability has not helped him out and taken some pressure out, and very strong with the opinions of less guys in the box because it's spread out. And I can acknowledge that. And yes, Derrick Henry is a little older, but the fact of the matter is Derrick Henry is doing what he's always done and has done for less teams. So he's able to hit that mark being with the Baltimore Ravens. They've had a better offensive line probably than he's ever played with in Tennessee. Not the pinnacle of offensive lines, but I would say better than what he's had for Tennessee this year. Dude, he is approaching the wrong side of an age mark where it's like guys aren't even playing. And the fact that he's able to do what he's doing, he's just hitting the benchmark. Where Lamar is literally having the best statistical year he's ever seen. So I'm not saying that Lamar hasn't opened up Derrick Henry. I'm just saying the run game that Derrick Henry has brought, I believe, has opened up Lamar more.
I'm gonna let Mr. Anthony Cafone step in here, super Ravens fan. Please, Ant, if I obviously me and Mazz are split here. I'd love for you to get your thoughts in.
Here's what I'm going to say about Derrick Henry. He's having the second highest rushing yards in his career in a single season at 30 years old. And, mind you, it's probably the lowest snap count percentage he's had since his rookie season. So you want to say that, Derrick Henry is just a freak of nature that's opening up Lamar? No, Lamar Jackson is absolutely giving Derrick Henry, a boost. I think they both play off of each other. It's not Lamar Jackson's boosted off because of Derrick Henry, or Derrick Henry's getting a boost because of Lamar. It's a cohesive thing. It's one benefits the other. And the fact that Lamar Jackson, now you're giving him one of the best running backs in the league to pair up with now an actual competent receiving core. This is his potential ceiling. The other years, 2019, when we thought, oh my God, might be one of the best quarterback seasons of all time. And he's besting that by an extra, probably 6 extra touchdowns, and 2,000 almost more yards passing. Craziness. Lamar Jackson is having possibly one of the greatest quarterback seasons of all time. The second highest passer rating in a single season in the National Football League history. Of course, 2 of those being, New York Jets' very own Aaron Rodgers. But Lamar's just having a crazy year. And everyone's, the stigma of he can't make the hard throws. He's making those hard throws this year. He's putting the ball in really tight windows. His completion percentage is almost 70%. Like, this is video game numbers. This is stuff you'd be doing in Madden. And Lamar Jackson is doing this in a 17-game NFL season, frankly, against the toughest competition in the NFL this year. He has beaten every single AFC playoff team in the playoff picture right now, besides the Chiefs. Beat the Bills, right? He beat Pittsburgh. He beat Houston, blew out Houston. He beat Denver. He beat LA. I mean, these are, the pinnacle teams of the AFC, and he's knocking them off. If Isaiah Likely doesn't have a size 14 shoe, he beats the entire AFC playoff picture in the regular season this season. And of course, you're going to say, he lost to the Browns, lost to the Raiders. Granted, the Browns game, he played fantastic. His defense sold him in that one. And then in the Raiders game, that's maybe his only bad game of the season. Josh Allen, however, plays the Colts, plays the Patriots. The Bills still win those games, and he has a combined 3 picks and 1 touchdown pass in those 2 games. And frankly, those two teams are some of the worst in the league. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Lamar Jackson's having one of the greatest quarterback seasons of all time. If you want to argue that he shouldn't deserve it last year, fine. I'll concede that point. But this year, he's the best player in the NFL. I'll even give you Saquon. If you want to give Saquon the MVP, I'm with you. He's having a career, one of the best running back seasons ever. But don't tell me right now, Josh Allen is having a more impressive season than Lamar Jackson or Saquon Barkley. It's not the case.
Maz, I'll let you to defend yourself here, and then we'll keep it moving because obviously we're not gonna really budge here on how we feel about the MVP.
Didn't you guys lose to the Steelers as well?
Yes, we did split with the Steelers.
Okay, so you split with the Steelers. Okay, let's not act like they have a great offense that's coming at you. Russell Wilson's been playing really good. There's one wide receiver that you like on that team. Everybody else, Russ has been enhancing. Sure, we love the defense of the Steelers. So, although you beat the Steelers, you did lose to them. Although you could have beat the Chiefs, you didn't. Those losses to the Browns and the Raiders, they mean something. Now, yes, Josh Allen did lose to you guys on a Thursday night, right?
Sunday
Short
night.
week.
Sunday night.
Was it Sunday?
It was Sunday
Okay.
Night Football.
Okay, my bad. Still, it was a home game for Baltimore. Hard as hell to play there, right? And they lost to another quality opponent. You guys have losses against just teams that we shouldn't even be discussing unless you want to talk about the number one overall pick for the Raiders, right? And whether or not Deshaun Watson is going to be coming back. Those are the only two things that we should be talking about with those pitiful franchises right now. So I think that, yes, you've had quality wins, but you've also had horrible losses. So I'm not saying Lamar's not great. I'm just saying for what the expectation was, I think one is beating expectations far more than anybody ever expected. And Lamar's doing crazy things, but we expected the Bills to be a wild card team at best, and they're cementing themselves as one of the best in the AFC. And it's not because of anybody else. It's Josh Allen that is making these plays. James Cook is not opening up Josh Allen the way that other people are getting help. The wide receiver core, this is not playing with Jamar Chase. This is not playing with Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, even Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is a wide receiver core where it's like, hey, everybody's really liking that rookie Coleman. Let's see what he can do. And it's Shakir, of all people, who is the most reliable person on the damn team. Let's not forget, they've got some decent tight ends. You still have a better tight end on the Baltimore Ravens. There's just more help right now. And listen, you have two coaches in McDermott and Harbaugh. I know you've been saying that you don't love Harbaugh and you kind of wish that they move on from him, but the fact of the matter is Harbaugh's taking you to the furthest spots. Harbaugh has coached Lamar to multiple MVPs, and you guys are having a really good year right this second. Granted, as we said, some tough losses, two horrible teams on that, but as we said, he's still a way better coach than McDermott, who just seems to be always on the hot seat almost every other year and just keeps finding a way to escape it. But still, no MVPs coached, has not taken the franchise to the farthest round. So just comparing everything, let's not forget too, they had to fire their offensive coordinator mid-season last year, right? So, or was that this year?
That was last year.
Last year, thank you. So it's like they were retooling and they are surviving. I gotta give it to the Bills, man. These guys never get the flowers that they deserve, and this year I gotta give it to them. Lamar's gotten flowers even in years he wasn't supposed to get flowers.
I just
Yeah, go ahead, Ant.
no, I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about the value that each of these players brings to their team, I think Lamar, if he's not playing at an elite level week in and week out, the Ravens lose. The Ravens have the second worst pass defense in the NFL this season, and they're the most penalized team in the NFL. So Lamar's had to work behind the sticks pretty much almost once or twice a drive, and he's still putting up these numbers on the offensive end. Josh Allen is getting the benefit of the doubt most of the time when it comes to his team playing the game, and they're winning pretty handily. So I'm saying Lamar Jackson's had some pretty bad circumstances to work with throughout this season. Chemistry issues. Deontay Johnson, they traded for mid-season, and he starts throwing a conniption fit, and he's already out. He got sent to waivers a few weeks ago. He has Marcus Williams in the secondary who's sort of pouting and not playing well, and they had to bench one of their highest paid players on the defensive end of the ball. The Ravens have had so much internal struggle that kind of gets glossed over because Lamar Jackson is playing at such an MVP elite level. But nobody wants to talk about that. They just think the Ravens are the best run organization in football, which They are one of the better run organizations in football, but this year there's kind of been a clown show going on behind the scenes that no one wants to kind of discuss. And I think Lamar Jackson is doing a really good job of just hiding that.
You want to talk about a clown show? Are you kidding me?
All right.
Hey,
I-
you want to talk about a clown
You're
show
going
real
Dallas,
quick?
you're gonna go Dallas here with Dak?
No, I'm not
What?
going Dallas. I'm not even going with the Jets. The Bills organization, they had to downgrade wide receiver to get better, right? And it's you want to talk about value to an organization. You take Josh Allen off that team, there is nothing to look forward to. He is single-handedly doing Superman antics with way less than any other elite quarterback is working with. Line them up, my friends. I don't care what the record is. Joe Burrow has more talent he's working with on offense.
We're not
Patrick
talking-
Mahomes
we're not-
has more talent. Lamar Jackson has more talent on offense to work with. Every elite quarterback has better weapons. Josh Allen is making guys look good that we shouldn't be even discussing right now. I'm sorry. And yeah, the Ravens, I hear you. On the outside, they are a good organization. I mean, listen, always in the playoff hunt. As we said, a multi-time MVP. However, I would argue the Bills have been a bigger dysfunctional organization over the years than the Ravens have.
That's
Did I say over the years? I said this year. That's the key difference. The MVP is not a recollection of everything that's happened over the last decade. It's what's happening this season. And that's what the point I was making. So the Ravens have been a more dysfunctional team this year than the Bills have been. And that's a fact.
I think that's just dropping games on their part, though.
All right, well-
Even the defense are comparable. It's not like the Bills is the greatest defense we've ever seen. This is not the Ravens last year's defense statistically. They're a lot closer than people like to acknowledge.
All right, we'll put a bow on that discussion because we're just going to agree to disagree. We're not going to come to a even ground on this. All right, so I just want to put one last note on this. One last bow is I think the other factor that comes into play here is voter fatigue. I do think that there is going to be some voters who say, "Hey, we gave it to Lamar last year," which I'm not saying that's right. It's like the Embiid and Joker NBA MVP the last few years, where it's been hey, Jokic is having the better seasons, but he won 2 these past 2 years, so we'll give Embiid 1 in here, and then of course but
Can I take us down a side street real quick? Going with that, I think
Sure.
that's the problem, though, right? Like voter fatigue is a thing, but it wouldn't happen if we would just go with who's supposed to win it. There's never a structured criteria. That's the damn problem. We want narratives to overtake everything. So we've already said that winning has to matter, right? And most of the time, you've had your exceptions with your Russell Westbrook MVP for the NBA, right? Where it's like, if we would just hit, is it the best statistics? Is it winning? Is it winning and then statistics? I want a set criteria, not just, this is my opinion. This is who I want to win it this year. I'm so sick of not having just a set disparity. You can absolutely break things up into categories, right? And a lot of people value strength of schedule. For me, there's not that many teams. It's not like college football where there's legitimate disparity like that. It's NFL level football, and any given Sunday, we've seen horrible teams beat great teams just because of scheming and stylistic nightmares, right? So it's like I don't really put much faith in strength of schedule just because they're all at that same level. But some people can disagree with that. And I'm fine if you just tell me what the damn criteria is for how you're going to gauge it. I'm sick of everybody just throwing out a name. And it's like, and let's be honest, right? Charlie, I think you'd be more inclined to be appreciating Josh Allen if you did not face him in the division and there wasn't some tough losses against him this year.
Okay,
right?
and I'm sure you would be more inclined to be on it with Lamar if Dak had won MVP last year.
And possibly, and I'll admit that it's possible for that. However, we've already said that winning the game, one more game, is more important than the damn statistics. Because no disrespect, Lamar had a great year last year. Dak was head and shoulders above the entire damn league.
All right,
so I don't want to hear about stats.
This is where I'm pulling you back in, Mazz. I'm pulling you because we're getting off topic here. We're getting off topic here a little bit. So
I just want disparity in the criteria. That's it. Thank you.
Let's put a bow on this and move on. We all cast our votes for MVP, and then whoever wins, we'll all come back in 2-3 weeks, whenever they call it, and we'll we'll laugh. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, Chuck, you don't even know what you want. I heard you switched your vote for Travis Hunter last second.
that was before I made an educated guess. Okay. And I would have loved to have had that debate 2 weeks ago if you didn't come down with fucking excuse me. If you didn't
Good.
come down with what'd you have? You had bronchitis or something?
So I was potentially going to turn into bronchitis. I had an upper respiratory infection. And if you guys see in my beautiful man purse that I got for Christmas, yes, I'm becoming European with it. Hold on with it. Hit it with the Peaky Blinders hat. Oh, right, fellas. Also a great gift. Shout out Mama Mazz. Hopefully she gets better. She's a little under the weather right now
Oh
for New
man.
Year's Eve. So we ain't doing nothing today. But there's an inhaler in there right now, which is hilarious because there's absolutely cigars and a cigar lighter and a cigar cutter in there. So but yeah, I needed the inhaler to get through this time.
It'd be like that
Beautiful. Gotta love it.
sometimes.
It's
So
like a shock to the system.
moving on to our next topic. The Giants, the New York Giants, who hadn't won a single home game all year, were 0-8 at home, hadn't scored 40 points, or excuse me, hadn't scored 30 points yet, hadn't had an interception since I want to say week 1. Finally picked up a win against the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. Incredibly embarrassing for Indy, but that's a different topic. We're really kind of more focusing on the draft here. You would think yesterday afternoon on WFAN and ESPN Radio New York that it was the end of the world for the Giants because they lost this first overall pick. I don't see the doom and gloom. This is not 2020 when the Jets miraculously beat the Rams and somehow lost out on the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. This is you didn't lose out on some generational quarterback prospect that's going to change your franchise first overall. You know what I mean? I don't understand it's not the end of the world.
I disagree. I
Yeah.
absolutely disagree for the sole fact of players and coaches, they always want to win every game. And I understand that.
course.
The front office does not always want to win every game, and that makes more sense. And I'm sorry, making that extra win, it's not going to save your job or not when you've had this bad of a season. It's not going to get anybody a new contract, right? It's that decision has already been made up, or you have to have another solid tryout or interview, workout, whatever, right? So if I'm the Giants, especially like the younger talent, like I understand wanting to compete, but winning this game, it takes you not only away from the first pick. I believe they're out of the top 5 now, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think
Correct?
they're top 3.
They're
Or they
Top 3.
currently the
fit?
third overall pick.
Third pick. Okay. So granted, if you don't get Shador, you end up with Cam Ward. They were never going Travis Hunter. The Patriots now have the number 1 pick. They're absolutely gonna go with Travis Hunter, right? However, you need to make a decision on who you want. I like Cam Ward, but I'm also a Miami guy. Shador's a lot younger than him. And to say, yeah, you lost out on Trevor Lawrence, look how that's been going. So even the generational talent, we don't know what's going to happen. The greatest football player in the history of the NFL was a 6th-round pick, right? So there's no telling how these guys are going to plan out, but you always want to give yourself the best odds, especially if you really think we talk about Travis Hunter having an amazing season. Shador threw a lot of touchdowns and I believe 3 interceptions. You never know what he's going to be able to do at the next level. He's absolutely that new age quarterback. If I'm the Giants, you absolutely, if you're looking at Joe Shane, I think he needs to be out of town, but this is legitimately your last shot if they're going to keep you. And Brian Dable, who I believe they should keep no matter what, because he's proven that I can win games with a horrible roster construction. You need to get him an actual quarterback. We saw what he did as an offensive coordinator with Josh Allen. Get him a quarterback that he actually wants to believe in, not just, hey, you're stuck with this guy. Give him his guy. It's just there's no benefit for me to winning the game because all that means is that now you're going to be forced into that pick because if somebody goes quarterback right before you, whether you wanted Shador or Cam, you might now get stuck with the other one, which isn't the worst case scenario, but you're not going down swinging with what could have been your number 1 guy.
Yeah, so there's the problem, right, Maz? Is the Giants are just not that they're directionless because of course they do have 2 guys as the head of the football field and the front office, but no one really knows for sure who's going to be staying, who's going to be going. Excuse me. Joe Shane, I think absolutely should be fired, like you said, Maz. I mean, the Saquon Barkley decision. We were screaming on Ant and Maz 2 3 years ago, 2 summers ago, that they were doing the exact opposite of what they should have been doing. They should have been franchise tagging Daniel Jones and giving Saquon Barkley the long term deal. He let Xavier McKinney walk in free agency this past spring, leading the league in interceptions, or at least tied with Kirby Joseph up in Detroit. This guy has just made so many head scratching personnel decisions, from going from making the playoffs with Dave Gettleman's roster and being like, hey, we got to fine tune, and somehow getting progressively worse since that playoff run. Just somehow the talent has gotten even worse. Brian Dable, former coach of the year, has been able to make things work with a lot of nothing. I think he's earned at least one more year. Joe Shane, the problem is I don't think either of these quarterbacks, Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders, neither one of them are supposed to be top 5, top 10 picks. I think they will be, because the quarterback position in this draft is not in a great spot right now. I gotta clear my throat. Hold on, give me 1 second. What the hell's
You're
going
good.
on?
Let me take that over real quick for you though, right? And we keep on saying that it's a down year for quarterbacks. However, Cam Ward just broke the all-time touchdown record for college ball, did he not?
I mean, absolutely he did. And if you're asking me personally right now, I'll just intercut this. I think Cam Ward is the only quarterback that has the physical tool set that should be a top 10 pick in the draft. Shadur, I'm a little bit more lukewarmish on, because his arm is not elite. He's pretty polished. He's accurate. I think he does display some leadership qualities, but I don't think physically he has the tools to be a great quarterback in the league.
You know what this is reminding me of right now?
What?
And he's not as good as a runner as him, and he might never be a multi-time MVP. We said the same thing about Lamar Jackson. The arm's not strong enough. The ball's
I
not
don't know if
pretty enough.
anybody had arm concerns with Lamar coming out of
Absolutely.
college.
It was absolutely arm concerns
It was
with,
more
with Lamar.
accuracy problems than it was
Yeah.
arm strength.
It was
He
arm
could-
strength too.
No, he could throw the ball 50 yards.
I mean,
He
listen,
could,
dude, it was
have
arm
you
strength.
seen him throw the ball? He can chuck it.
Yeah, now he can, but like
Hey,
there was
no, but
discussions as to whether or not. Hold on,
you
there
can't
was
gain arm
discussion.
strength.
Yes, you can.
I mean,
What do you mean?
working out's going to add like a few yards, but
Bro.
arm talent is innate. It's not built up.
He doesn't have a cannon like Josh Allen does, right? So
Okay.
listen,
Like,
but I'm just saying, right? Like nobody ever went, "Oh, Lamar's got a giant arm." They were literally talking about he should be moving to wide receiver because we think that his athletic ability would be better suited there. Nobody wanted to talk about him being a quarterback. At least with Shador, we're not even talking about moving on from quarterback. It's just whether or not that you trust in him. And this guy has already kind of done the hardest thing in sports, and that's play for your father. Do you know how much pressure is there? Like, and listen, you can say what you want about Dion, right? Maybe overhypes the kid, but every video you've ever seen, the guy's literally holding the kid to ridiculous standards. All right. So the fact that he was able to play under that kind of pressure and to put up the statistical season that he had as an individual, I do have a little more faith in him. I do not think that he's going to fix all the problems for a franchise like Las Vegas or the Giants. I don't think Cam Ward could do it because I fully believe that those franchises are in that bad of a state. However, they definitely could give you the foundation, maybe a couple more pieces, and then boom, 3 years, you're legitimately competing. Coming back with Shane, it's my biggest problem was, yeah, you should have kept Saquon. I understand if you were concerned a little bit about the injury history. However, you cannot sit there and let the guy walk out the door in free agency and get nothing in return for a generational talent. And why do all these teams think guys are going to take team friendly deals when no team has been loyal to a damn player, especially the Giants? They ruined Eli Manning's starting game record to put in Geno Smith, who was absolutely everything but written off at that time in his career. So if I'm Saquon, you've brought in nothing to help me. You've ran me into the ground. You're literally the reason why I'm injury plagued and has missed crucial time for my career. It is a miracle that I'm having the season that I am with Philadelphia and with some of the hits that I've taken this year. Thankfully, they're not running me into the ground and actually respect me. That is the problem with these teams. It's like, oh, these guys are going to do right by us, even though we've never done right by any of you for a long time. Maybe one or two might get some love and it's like, yo, you did right by him. But a lot of the times it's like, hey, thanks for the service. We're shipping you out of here. Or like if you're not gonna pay him generational money, how can you expect him to come here? If you're gonna match, that's one thing. You can expect that. But if you're not gonna go all the way, how can you expect that guy to have faith in you?
So back to the draft pick. I think when it comes to the Giants picking a quarterback here, it really depends on who the general manager is going to be. Because if it is Joe Shane, if John Mara decides he's going to keep this guy around to run another draft, Joe Shane has to take a quarterback because he's at the end of his lifeline here. It's one more season, one more bad season of football, and you're out of here. So he's going to feel the pressure to maybe have to overdraft one of these guys like a Cam Ward or a Shadur Sanders. Whereas if you bring in a new GM who has a bit more of space to work with, not exactly up to the fire immediately, you don't necessarily have to take a quarterback, a guy who may not be first round pick worthy, but is only going to get picked there because of the run on quarterbacks in this draft. I think the Giants might be better off running it back with a Drew Lock or picking up a Jameis Winston or drafting a guy in the second or third round instead of using a top 3 pick on a guy who's not really worth a top 3 pick.
So then what would you like to see? Because Lord knows every time they go offensive lineman, it barely works out.
I mean, definitely still needs some help in the secondary. I mean, Will Johnson from Michigan's going to be up there. I mean, besides Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson's okay. Darius Slayton's a free agent. You could use another receiver. There's Tet McMillan, I think his name is, from Arizona. I don't think you necessarily need to go quarterback here. It's not. They need to acquire quarterbacks because damn is that position bleak. It's Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, and Tim freaking Boyle, Milk Toast Connecticut. Tim Boyle, sorry, excuse me. I still get flashbacks from last year with Jets. But yeah, it's just you don't necessarily need to use this high value pick on a position that is high value, but these players aren't up to that value. And it's not a knock on Ward and Sanders because it's not their fault. It's just how it happened to play out this year.
I think you absolutely, no matter what, for the years that we've seen, especially for the Giants fan base, even more than Las Vegas, they have been dying for the next face at quarterback. Anything, literally anything will suffice as long as it is within the first round. Just give us something that we can believe in, some youth, some energy. Look what happened when Tommy DeVito, undrafted free agent, steps onto the field, right? There was some life. Now imagine if there's somebody that the team can actually believe in because they had ridiculous seasons in college coming into this next year. I think it does wonders for a team. They're not winning no Super Bowl, but I think it actually goes, oh my God, we are finally in the new guard era of the franchise, and it just brings a breath of energy. The quarterback's the most important position, right? I kind of like to downplay it at times just for the sole fact of other positions don't get the love that they deserve. But make no mistake about it, they touch the ball on 99.9% of the stats, unless you go wildcat, for crying out loud, right? And your special teams. But it is literally the crown jewel to everything else. So when everything else is, hey, we've kind of missed in these other positions, even Kayvon Thibodeau has not lived up to what it is. I think you just have to take your shot at quarterback right now.
So, hypothetical question for you: yes
Yep.
or no? Your first time general manager. Let's say Joe Shane got fired. You're a first time GM,
Yep.
Giants job. Are you staking your career on a Sanders or a Cam Ward?
Yeah, I am right now.
Really?
Just yeah, looking at the draft.
Even though they're not projected to be those types of generated, like this is not last year's draft where there's even a Jaden Daniels or a Drake May after the first overall pick. This is it's pretty low. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, people are gonna hate me for this. I'm higher on Shador and Cam than I am Drake May. Right? I'm not saying I'm higher than them than I was on Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams. I prefer both of them to Drake May. I was never high on Drake May. I actually did I not make the argument that I almost prefer Penix over Drake May
You might have,
coming into it.
but May
So
has
it's
looked really good though. I think.
he has, but I'm just saying I wasn't that high on him. These guys, like I like, and I think that guys are downplaying their ability as if they weren't playing good competition this year. Now, granted, Colorado might have underperformed with the hype, right? But it was not because of Shador Sanders. That's the matter of
No,
the fact.
absolutely not.
Miami underperformed with the hype around them, but the hype wasn't there until Cam Ward started balling out and started making a Heisman campaign, right? Now, Miami themselves underperformed, but Cam Ward had statistically the best quarterback season in all of college football, and that's including Dylan Gabriel, who hasn't lost a damn game the entire year. That's including Shador Sanders. That's including Jalen Milroe, who's supposed to be the next great one, right? So it's like we keep on downplaying these guys. I'm sorry, Cam Ward has accomplished more than Drake May ever did at the collegiate level. You know, Shador Sanders had a better year, I believe, than Drake May did at North Carolina his final year, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying that I'm higher than them on a Caleb, and Caleb hasn't even worked out yet. We'll see how that goes. And of course, our friend over in Washington and Mr. Daniels has been playing ridiculous, and I definitely have him higher. I think just for those franchises, I'm thinking I have to go quarterback. The only player that I am considering taking over them is if I want to take a gamble and go get Travis Hunter, but I can't do that without the number one overall pick, I believe.
All right. I guess we'll see what come the draft. Just how high or low these quarterbacks fall and come down on the boards. I mean, we haven't even hit the combine or these pro days yet. So
Who are you most excited for at this next level?
for a quarterback,
No, just in general. Like, what college player are you think I cannot wait to see this guy?
oh, Travis Hunter. I can't wait to see what happens in the NFL with him. Like how often he plays receiver, how often he's playing corner. It's going to be really interesting. And I think the Patriots are a good spot for him because that's just easily the worst roster in football right now. And I think just getting any sort of injection of talent would be helpful for them.
Can I say a name?
Eh,
A guy we're gonna see tonight in that Penn State Boise State game, Tyler Warren, bro. Man,
Yeah.
he gives me Brock Bowers
Oh.
vibes, bro.
You
He
messed
might,
me
it might
up.
be a first round pick.
He might be a
You
top
messed me up
5
there.
pick.
You think so?
Top 5, top 10. I think it's possible. With how Brock Bowers performed this year, tight end stock's probably gonna be high.
I'm absolutely being a little bit biased here for the sole fact I do not think that he should be drafted higher than Travis Hunter. I just thought that he should have won the Heisman. Ashton Genty is somebody I'm ecstatic for, mainly because the Cowboys are projected to take him in the first round. And I know people are going to
It would
say
make so much sense. It makes so much
you
sense.
have to take
Yeah.
the running
Did,
back.
did I
there.
get you all excited?
You know what my
Hold on.
favorite
Did I
thing?
get you all excited when I said
You did. You absolutely did. You got me. I was just like, yes, yes. And then you hit me with a tight end. I was
Tyler
like, what
Ward.
the hell are we doing?
Yeah. No,
What
of
the hell are we
course.
doing?
He's gonna be a
No,
great
no,
player.
I hear you. I hear you. I thought we were on the same page and we were in the same book, just on the on a different chapter there. But no, I'm excited to see Ashton Jetty because if there's one thing that Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and Derrick Henry has proven over the last couple of years, the running back position matters when you have an elite guy, and this can be the next great one. I just because I really want to see him with the Cowboys because we haven't had a running back be elite in a couple of seasons. I am so excited to see him. But yeah, Charlie, I'm with you. You definitely want to see which is Travis Hunter still capable of being the Iron Man at the next level, the pinnacle level in the NFL. Fellas, I'm so hyped for this Boise State game, and I know that your family has Penn State ties. I want to shout out my friend Val Chavera, who's a Penn State alum, diehard fan, but I'm rocking with Ashton Genty. I hope he runs for like 250 yards and 4 touchdowns tonight.
Gonna be honest.
It would be
I
pretty
won't be
sick.
surprised if they win tonight. I won't be surprised.
Boise, really?
Yeah. I won't be surprised if they win tonight.
Ashton Genty is a beast among men, my friend. Imagine if that guy would have just sold out and just went to a bigger program. I have so much respect that he didn't, but imagine if he would have. I mean, to be behind like a Georgia offensive line or even an Alabama offensive line, what have you? Don't get me wrong, they've had some good running backs, but Genty behind like a legitimate like SEC Big Ten line, that would have been insane. And he's doing this, no disrespect to Boise, but with a Mountain West line.
And Mountain West defenses. To be fair, to play devil's advocate, not knocking Genty. I like him
And
too.
let's not forget a quarterback that wasn't even supposed to be starting for it, just the actual guy who was projected literally got beat out at the last second for not playing good. So yeah, that entire situation in Boise State, I mean, just what he is overcoming and accomplishing, I am so excited to see that guy. And yeah, I do believe that he should have been the Heisman. But yes, Travis should be drafted higher. All right, guys. Last thing here for the NFL. I'm a man of my word, and when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I will admit it. I've been saying that Joe Burrow was overrated for the last couple of weeks, maybe last couple of months, and that guy is him. And I apologize. I just wish that they had a better defense around them. Granted, still has probably the best wide receiver core in the NFL, but he's absolutely enhancing it. And is Jamar Chase the best wide receiver in the NFL, fellas?
Yeah, I'd say. I've been saying that for like 2 years now. Everyone's
You
always
have.
like, but Jay Jettas. And I'm like, I'm not taking anything away from him, but Jamar Chase is a home run hitter.
I would just love to see Jay Jettas with a better quarterback. No
Yeah.
disrespect to Darnold. He's been phenomenal. I just want to see him with a better quarterback.
I mean, he had Kirk for the first couple of seasons, and Kirk was definitely helping him out a lot with some pretty good throws. But I think that's the one thing that Jettas hasn't had compared to Jamar has been like the consistency in his play calling and quarterback schemes. I think once Jettas got O'Connell, he took off to a new level, and I think Jamar Chase has just gotten consistently better each and every year. This year, he's by far the best receiver in football. What's he at? 1,700 receiving yards?
Something crazy, and he's gonna have the quietest Triple Crown season of all time. Like no one cares.
He won't
said
even win
one-
Offensive Player of the Year.
I know.
Second one ever in the history of the league
No.
in the same season.
Second, I think
In the-
it's the third because Jerry Rice did it once.
Jerry Rice never did it in the same season.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp was
No.
the first one to ever hit a triple crown in the same season. I'm almost positive.
Actually, that reminds
That's
me.
nah.
Y'all got to shout out Brock Bowers' rookie reception record.
Yeah, dude, that especially on that franchise, that kid is insane. Go ahead, look it up, Chucky. I'm almost positive. You know why? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
dude. Cooper Kupp, Steve Smith Sr., Sterling Sharp, Jerry Rice. There you go.
That's who they've hit it.
Yeah.
And it's
then
been like 20 years in between.
And then there's like 8 guys from 1932 to 64, but that's like pre-Super Bowl era, so you don't really count that.
They were barely passing the ball back then. I don't even want to hear
Yeah.
about those. Well, what were they hitting the triple crown with? 16 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and 300 yards for the year. Stop it.
Something else I wanted to touch on before we got off football is a Jets debate / topic, and that is if Aaron Rodgers should be back as the quarterback for next season. Mazz, I'll start with you.
Pack it up and ship it the hell out of town, dude. The failed experiment is there. We did everything that you asked for. We kept your offensive coordinator. That went swell. You tried calling your own plays, which I was begging you to do for the sole fact of I knew your offensive coordinator was absolutely dog water, dirty dog water. And that didn't even work. They went and got you your favorite wide receiver you've ever played with. That barely worked. You had a young stud who might ask for a trade because you guys can't get it together. You have another stud on the defensive side of the ball who seems to be decent friends with what's going to be one of the top free agent wide receivers, probably the top free agent wide receiver in T. Higgins. And he won't even ask him to come because he knows that this is a dumpster fire. You got Saleh fired. The defense hasn't been the same since. And it's just like, buddy, thanks for coming. You messed up a franchise that was already in disarray, and it's gotten worse somehow. But there is still a lot of potential with this roster. I firmly believe that they are 5 moves away from changing everything. New head coach number 1, new GM number 2, offensive line number 3, some goddamn culture back in the building, and 5 and 5th most, change the goddamn logo and give somebody something to be hyped about.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
All right,
that was
so
just a little surprise when I find. But the
I-
4 ones, that's it, baby.
I agree
That's
with you.
the key to success.
I agree with you on 3 of those.
Okay.
So I was on the record about a month ago saying that I think Rodgers should be back because I think when you're looking at 2025 and you're examining the quarterback options around the league in terms of, free agents, trade market, draft, like if you're going out and you're buying a quarterback next year, you're looking at Kirk Cousins, you're looking at Daniel Jones, you're looking at, I was going to say Sam Darnold, but he's not hitting the market. No way. But you're looking at like bridge guys, right? And I said to myself, and I said as a Jets fan, I think Aaron Rodgers still, he's not what he once was. There's absolutely not. He's taken a once legendary quarterback has taken a few steps back. It's okay to say. He still was probably, in terms of talent, the best option for the Jets to go with a quarterback. But it has gotten so bad these last few weeks in the locker room. Mazz, as you mentioned, the Garrett Wilson, they have fallen apart so far that Garrett wants to request a trade if he's still the quarterback here next year. Because the culture and the locker room toxicity has gotten so bad, it's time to cut bait. It doesn't matter if he's good, if he is the best option at QB for next year. It doesn't matter if his presence brings Devontae Adams back into the fold. The Jets need to start clean in the locker room. You had a guy, DJ Reed, who he's been a really great corner for the Jets the last 3 years. He's played very well. He's played hard. Mentored Sauce coming up. He said at his locker after the Buffalo game on Sunday, "Bro, I'm ready to hit free agency." That's how bad things are.
I'm ready to hit free agency.
I
believe the
paraphrasing.
quote was, and see what is next and ahead left in my career. That tells me every damn thing I need to know about that locker room. This is a Stephon Diggs situation. You need to cut bait. I'm not saying that they're cancerous and that they can never work for another franchise. I'm saying for what it is right this second, and this is more publicized than what Stephon Diggs was, right? You need to get them out of there. You might be able to go flourish. Stephon Diggs was looking really good in Houston until unfortunately ended up getting hurt. They just need a new change of scenery. Get it out of there. Dude, go take a shot with a quarterback in a later round in the draft. Go get you a Quinn Ewers. Somebody. I don't know. Jackson Dart. Try something. Save the money on the quarterback situation right there. Go get you a later round rookie contract that's team friendly. Go use that other money to build up the other places and maybe actually lure a coach that's worth a damn of something. And I'm sorry, I will forever. I don't know. Ron Rivera and Rex Ryan had their first round of interviews, baby. You might end up with Riverboat Ron and talk about rolling the dice, baby. You guys are gonna be rolling the dice every damn day if he comes. But when it comes to it, you gotta ship it out, my friend. You gotta try something different. And you know what? I'm rooting for Rex Ryan to be that head coach.
That's a no on Rex Ryan. Ron Rivera, I wouldn't hate as a defensive coordinator or assistant head coach, but he cannot be the head coach of this team now. Fingers crossed for Mike Vrabel. I like the Bucks OC a lot. Aaron Glenn, we'll see.
Rexy was willing to be a DC. He thought he had the Cowboys job set game max, So you never know. You might end up with Vrabel and Rex Ryan. Why not?
We'll see. It's dark in Florham Park, has been for a long time now. But what else is new, right?
I just remember one of my favorite memories was when Aaron Rodgers was debating where he was going to be going. Was he going to go to the Jets? Was he going to stay with the Packers? What was going on? And it was Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Sauce Gardner sitting around a campfire and saying, "Hey, Aaron, please come here." And not even 2 years later, they're ready to walk out on.
And now they're like, "Okay, it's time to go.
Time to go, old man. Time to leave."
It's just like, hey, we were losing games before, but we were having
Actually,
fun.
I shouldn't even say 2 seasons. It's technically not even been a full season because he didn't even play last year. So it's not even been a full season of Aaron Rodgers with those three, and they're ready to be done with him.
And that's the thing. It's it's not even like there's anybody to blame in this situation because everybody was on board with this move. Everybody was.
No, there's somebody to blame.
Fans, players, front office, coaches, owner, everybody, Aaron Rodgers, everybody was on board with this marriage. It just didn't work out. It is what it is.
I'll tell you right now, there's somebody to blame. It's Aaron Rodgers. That is who to blame. Not to mention, you guys didn't want to trade for a really good.
Woody's got to play a part.
Yeah. Let's not trade a wide receiver because my son said that his Madden rating isn't very good, for crying out loud. What are they doing there? But no, I think Aaron Rodgers has the biggest stake of this being a problem. I can't blame Saleh. I mean, that defense was looking really good. At least Breece Hall was still looking like a top 3 running back. Like, things have literally went downhill the second you fired him. If you wanted to fire him at the beginning of the season and everybody can have something to buy in, that's one thing. I will never understand, ever for the life of me, why you fire a coach mid-season and then you replace him with an interim coach that is literally a guy that he brought in. I don't even trust you to run the organization, but my successor is going to be a guy that you chose. What sense does that friggin' make?
None,
I
none,
don't
none
understand.
whatsoever.
I understand if the GM said, hey, this is a coordinator that you're absolutely getting because we have some belief in him. Or it's like, hey, you've had success here for years and now you're dying down and we think that this could be the new energy. Salo was barely there. You barely trusted him, and you went, yeah, you know what? We're just going to give it to a guy that he brought in. That makes sense. I will never understand this. It makes no damn sense, my friends. But it's the Jets. I should know better.
Yeah, let's talk about something else because the Jets are just not worth spending any more oxygen on. So,
Little hoop
um,
action?
yeah, let's go over to the NBA. In the past week or so, obviously, I mean, they're playing every other day, but some of the bigger storylines was the Sacramento Kings parted ways with head coach Mike Brown. He had gotten them to the playoffs in two of his first three seasons as coach, if I'm not mistaken, and then a play-in berth in that other season. They started I think it was 11-18 this year, and the Kings decided to pull the plug. Don't really understand why, because this is a guy who, I mean, he didn't bring you back to relevance. I mean, they definitely have gotten a lot better in Mike Brown's era as the coach, but it wasn't like they were winning playoff series and making a stamp. They had the one light the beam season where they took Golden State 7 games in the first round. But other than that, that was really the peak of this era of Kings basketball.
I'll tell you right now, this is probably that Kings team was the best Kings team I can remember since Mike Bibby and Chris Webber were there. I love Boogie Cousins, one of my favorite centers of all time, but like even they didn't have that great of a roster. This guy just won Coach of the Year 2 seasons ago, had a winning record with the franchise, a team that's underperforming, and you're going to fire him, even though there's reports they're willing to move on from De'Aaron Fox. So how are you going to go trade your coach when you don't even fully believe in your best player? There's legitimate talks right now. San Antonio and the Los Angeles Lakers could give up a ton of 3 first-round picks to go both get De'Aaron Fox. I don't know whether it's going to happen, but the fact that those talks are even out there, that's supposed to be your untouchable guy. They clearly don't believe in the roster that they've constructed. Mike Brown is not the problem here. I've never seen a coach fired and so many coaches in the league come out and actually bash the franchise for firing the coach. I have not seen that in quite some time. Every time a guy gets fired, it's like, hey, you know what? It is what it is. I actually kind of understand it. This is the first time that I can remember where I saw 5 coaches say, I don't know what the hell they're doing, essentially, if you paraphrase some of them. And 2 just came out and said, yeah, no, they're idiots, basically,
Well,
So,
I would say the Kings aren't exactly the epitome of a well-run franchise. That they come in and out of mediocrity just like that. Besides the Mike Bibby, Chris Webber years, and then of course that one light the beam season. Name one time they've been relevant in the last 25 years.
there's been players relevant, but there's, yeah, that's it.
He's
That's the only one.
that's that's it. That's really
Tyreek
it.
Evans, but that's really it. They've
They should
just
move.
they've never been a good franchise. I'm sorry. Like,
Conspiracy theory talk to me. I think they are trying to move Charlie.
Yeah.
Like, they have a solid young core. They have a head coach who was, successful in his first 2 seasons. They go 13-18 and immediately blow it up. I don't know. Seems a little fishy to me.
I can see it. Sacramento's not exactly a flagship sports city in the United States. So, I mean, Seattle.
I called for years before that Adam Silver came out and said that there's absolutely going to be franchise expansion. I've always said that the Kings should just move to Vegas and you can keep the damn name. It just makes sense, right? Maybe change the color scheme a little bit, but um, I don't know. Can you get the attendance record for Sacramento? Just how
I'll
have
get
they
that for
been
you.
looking? I know I know that they love basketball in Sacktown. It's just I don't know how the attendance been, but also the franchise hasn't been good neither. Like there's cities that you would just assume that would be basketball cities just because of the history of the franchise in them, and they're really not. Like I always think of Atlanta being like that should be a hot spot for basketball. They love their football, but more like the MLS team, Atlanta United, was getting more attention than anybody. But also, winning is contagious. When you win, people want to jump on the bandwagon. They want to pay attention. They want to be a part of it, right? So
Currently,
we
the
looking?
Kings have the 26th ranked attendance in the NBA.
Yeah.
Their average
How
is
was that?
currently.
Can you get that for last year?
This is for this year. 16,861 fans a game.
Can you find last year's or when they were actually winning? I'm just curious, like that beam year. How
Yeah,
were they
I'll
looking?
pull it up right now. This year, this wasn't the beam year. Beam year was 2 years ago, but this year, last year they were 19th in the league in attendance, so a little bit better. And in 2023, the beam year, they were I thought they were a lot better than 20. They're right around the same area.
So in the best year, they were 20. Ship it out of town. I mean, I'm fine if you want to leave. You know, I mean, they were catching fire. They were the hottest, youngest team in the NBA. Maybe they weren't winning a championship for sure. I think some of us might have, some of our friends might have believed that they were going to go farther, but nonetheless, they were fun to watch. And you're only hitting 20th. If it was top 15, then yeah, you stay right put. But clearly, it's not even the winning. I mean, there's definitely a bigger market, I believe. I always think, why not Baltimore? Right? Why does Baltimore not have a franchise? Why does Kansas City not have a franchise? These are clearly sports towns, cities, right? I do not understand why they don't have one. Maybe maybe Vancouver wants a franchise back. I don't know.
Baltimore, I could see. I mean, Washington is the Wizards are supposed to kind of cover the whole DMV area, but I mean, even there,
There's a difference,
the Wizards are
Big
lower,
difference.
and Wizards are pretty low in attendance right now because they've just been in the toilet for the last few years. Just absolute terrible franchise. So
They've had two
maybe
things worth willing to go see. That was John Wall and Bradley Beal. Outside of that, there's been absolutely nothing.
bringing back the Baltimore Bullets.
That's never going to happen with the current climate of this country, my
Yeah,
friend.
no way.
You know, but I could see a Baltimore franchise be, and it's right. Like, you go down to DC or Baltimore, like, although they're so close, like, you would think that they're all in on it. Like, there's clearly lines drawn.
It's
Diehard
like New York
Ravens
and
fans.
Philly. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Baltimore King Crabs.
No.
Nah, it was a miss. That was a miss. My fault, guys. My fault.
You know what? I like that you threw out a team name. My favorite thing to do in 2K is to hit an expansion franchise and build just a brand new look and feel for a team and take it serious. And I love it.
What about,
Yeah,
like,
there was a storyline.
the Baltimore Henrys, like Fort
What?
Henry? You know, Fort McHenry, like the War of 18.
Boo. I'd rather be the King Crabs. Because at least I can
What
still.
about, like, the
I saw
Blue
what you did there.
Claws?
You kept the king. You kept the king kind of theme there. King Crab. God. No. Guys, I don't think we're solving the Baltimore name franchise today. It's
Yeah,
just not
probably not.
happening. You know.
The Baltimore Bells, which is another Edgar Allan Poe reference, just like the Ravens.
Yeah, let's just make them the Baltimore Telltale Hearts.
The Baltimore Amontillado.
Let's just make them the Baltimore Opium if we're gonna go with Edgar Allan Poe. That was horrible. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Nonetheless, here we are. Fellas, Vegas needs to get a team. I don't care
They will.
how it happens. I just need a team to come to Vegas at this point.
What's going to happen is there will be a Vegas team, there will be a Seattle team, and the Memphis Grizzlies will then move to the Eastern Conference, and that's how it's going to happen.
You were so close to being right. I see two other teams being it besides Memphis.
If the Kings
Who?
moved to Vegas, that's the perfect team name for them.
I know
the
it
Aces,
is.
you got the Kings.
Yeah,
That's pretty sick.
That's pretty cool. Right?
exactly. You know, but however, but then if it's going to be Sacramento moving to Vegas, who would be the other? It has to be two teams coming in.
Okay,
keep
so
things even.
so right now there's 30, 15 in each conference, right?
Yeah, so you add two, one moves
So
over.
so you move Memphis to the East. That's 16 teams in the East.
Yep.
And then in the West, there's 14. You expand in Seattle and Vegas. That's 16 and 16, 32 teams.
You know, I'm aware. I'm saying if Sacramento were to move to Vegas, where would be the other expansion franchise? Because then you could keep
Seattle.
the West. But Charlie, we're adding another team.
But then you move Memphis to the East.
You move Memphis to the
No,
East, and,
you
and
guys are missing me. We're missing one team. If
no,
Sacramento
Maz, we
moves
have
to
Maz, we
Vegas.
have 30 teams in the NBA, right? We
yes,
have
but we're adding
15 teams in the West Coast. West Coast. No, you're
listen to
laughing,
me.
but
Listen to me.
okay.
Listen. I understand if we were adding 2 teams. I'm not talking about adding an expansion franchise to Vegas. I'm saying if Sacramento were to
Oh,
move to Vegas, where would be the other location,
all
damn it?
right, okay. Are we expanding on the West Coast? It's got to be a Western Conference team,
I don't think
right?
it has to be if Sacramento moves to Vegas because you already hit that market that you're wanting to. Now, no teams have to move. You just add one to Seattle, and maybe you hit a Baltimore market. Maybe you hit a Kansas City market, and you put them in the East.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
All
asking.
right.
Where do you guys think it would happen?
Yeah,
Most
I
likely,
it would probably be East Coast. I think.
Yeah,
So
I don't know about Baltimore. I just think the NBA is probably going to look for a little bit bigger of a market when it comes to like the East Coast and as I would think maybe like another Canada team, Montreal.
oh, that's an interesting one. I don't hate that. I do
Maybe
not hate that.
a Pittsburgh NBA team,
Or
You know,
what about
that is a good
Cincinnati
one.
too?
Cincinnati.
These are good ones. I do not hate these. I would love to see a Pittsburgh team. They literally just need one.
A black and yellow basketball team.
Why not? I mean,
Got to do it.
there's really not one there. Charlie, you're onto something with the Pittsburgh for sure. Man, I can't wait for expansion. I love it. I don't know why.
It's coming. It's coming within the next 5 years.
It's just gonna be so much fun. But real quick, what you said, Memphis going over? 2 other teams. Either A, just because of the Great Lakes things that we got going on with the Bucks and the Bulls and the Pacers there. I think Minnesota should move, or New Orleans should move. Even though, if you look at it, they're all kind of on like a similar parallel.
I always
In a
just go with
straight line.
Memphis because they're the closest East. That's just always my reasoning there.
Fair enough. But New Orleans, I believe, is closer. You know, see a little rivalry going on with like the Heat and
Yeah.
the Magic injecting them into that southern tier with it. It's gonna be interesting for sure. Imagine Ja Morant playing in the East.
Eastern Conference.
Oh
That'd be
my
sick. That'd
God,
be
the
sick.
Knicks better watch out because there's a new second place team in town.
Well, hopefully by then the Knicks will have won 3 championships with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. So
You think they're going all the way?
that's wishful thinking on my part. I hope so, but
I
we'll
still
see.
think
It's
Boston
too,
just
it's too,
has
too early to
much.
tell. Too early to tell.
I don't know, dude. I need Jimmy Butler shipped out, but we'll see what happens.
See what
Fellas.
happens.
Things are picking up. I can't wait for the end of football season because I'm already in basketball mode, even though the world is hating on the league. Yeah, I've been hearing the craziest conspiracy theories. Let's move the 3-point line, no corner 3 shot, and like corner 3 went from the hardest shot in the NBA to now like the most favored shot. I don't understand what is happening. They got to fix something. Adam Silver is going to figure it out. I'm not going to sit here and throw, oh, maybe we should erase this or that. We'll get to that to another day.
All they have to do is bring physicality back into the game and let guys be physical again. I mean, you saw the other night with I think it was Amen Thompson and Tyler Hero got into a bit of a scuffle. I think that the suspensions and fines came down for that this afternoon. But not that I want to see guys beating each other up on a nightly basis in the NBA, but just bring back some physicality and some like some
I want the
oomph to
hand
the
check
game.
back.
Yeah, like it's more exciting, it's more interesting. It would bring some older fans back in.
I think you need
I don't know.
You need a new face. Like LeBron's been around for 22 years and he's starting to get into the twilight now. He's already talking retirement this year. You need a new face. Giannis, I don't know.
Wemby.
Yeah, Giannis, I don't know. Jokic,
So
even though Jokic has been fantastic, he's a little boring, right? He doesn't have the personality to really be a face of the league. Victor Wembanyama, that's your face. That guy that you can look to in the NBA and say he is going to dominate the NBA for the next 15 to 20 seasons. He's 7'3" with a.
I think he's the best player in the league right now.
What's he got? Like an 87-inch wingspan, and right now he's
Something
averaging
crazy.
4 blocks a game and 14 rebounds and 25 points. Like
They
ridiculous.
need to get that kid some help. Charlie, they would have absolutely beaten you guys on Christmas if he had
100%.
one other
100%.
person worth anything else. I love Chris Paul, the veteran leadership, the things that he's done. I wish he would have been a Laker and they didn't screw us with the trade, but he ain't it. Vassell, all those other guys, they're not it. Go get you a De'Aaron Fox. Go get you a Trae Young. Go get something to give this kid help with in the scoring category. I swear to God that the San Antonio Spurs could be on the another realm of a championship. Here's my problem, though. The face talent doesn't always necessarily matter. We've been hearing for years. Giannis could be the new face. It didn't happen. Luka could be the new face. It didn't happen. And both of them are still great. Jokic, the best player in the damn league. And just like you said, he's boring. All of those guys, they're all a little boring. And I also think that there is some biasness with them not being American as
There's
well.
a difference. Wembanyama
What?
goes in the middle of Central Park and plays chess with people.
Plays chess.
Okay, there's a difference.
Yeah,
here.
dude. That's
He's
still a
got that
little boring.
mentality.
But he's
Kobe was low key kind of boring if you want to talk about personality.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? You saw like the interviews and stuff, and like what happened transpiring on the court with the trash talking. Like there was stuff that was marketable about it, just outside of like the talent. Like there was storylines. There's not really storylines with the other three. I don't know. Wembanyama kind of he just gives that Tim Duncan, and just like, hey, I'm just here to enjoy basketball kind of feel, and I'm here to enjoy life. But there's not really like you need a polarizing figure. I think I think Ja Morant could be the next face. He just got to
You
that's a
don't
little
think guy
too
who's
much polarizing.
7'3"
What he's
or
getting.
was he 7'4", 7'5" can't be the face? Like he just looks like an alien.
I just don't think that he's enough marketable. Like, what's there to it outside of the talent and size? It has to be a bigger than life personality, is what I'm thinking. I need guys to start talking smack back on the court. I need actual rivalries. I don't want to see, hey, we're the two best out of our draft class, and we're gonna go link up. I hate that guy, and I want to prove that I am better than him for the rest of our damn careers. If I'm gonna link up, it's gonna be with somebody that I don't have ties to, somebody that's not being compared to me. It's just somebody that's completely out of the realm of who I've been competing with. I want rivalries back. What I saw, what is it? Amen Thompson, we said?
And Tyler Hero, yep.
And Tyler here, I saw the freaking dude. He basically hit him with an underhook and flapped him like a flapjack. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be the next great rivalry in the NBA, but I never ever want to see those two play on a team together forever. It is on site with great competition, and if it gets physical, so be it. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but I want to see them hate each other in a competitive nature on the court, and that's what I need to see with the great ones. I would love, y'all are going to hate this right now, I would love to see Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have a fallout, and forever it is on site. Jaylen Brown go join the Lakers, and we got a Lakers-Celtics rivalry. I don't know. I'm trying to create drama here, a little WWE action. I want guys to, when they see each other, you are not better than me. I'm going to let you know about it, and I'm going to back it up on the court. That's the problem. It's the Super Friends extravaganza in the league. Everybody love everybody like it's Jackie freaking Moon. I don't want to see that anymore. I want to see guys scathing. Don't even mention his damn name to me right now. That's what we need in the NBA.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't disagree. That's what I said with the Hero and Thompson little beef there. Just bring back physicality. Let guys you know give them some more wiggle room when they're on the court.
Well,
and I think the viewers will start coming back in a little bit.
The problem also is like the NBA has this image. They want to project, clean, positive superstars that are great for young role models. It's like, yeah, that's great. We want to, push, good morals onto, the young fans and people. But at the end of the day, like this is still a game. This is a competition. These are two teams that are going out there and trying to give it their best to win over the course of 4 quarters. And usually when we play basketball out on the courts, and most people, I would say, around the country, when that stuff sort of happens, physicality gets brought out, and sometimes little emotions get flared up, and people like to see that. People like to see the energy that goes into an NBA basketball game. But the problem is now the regular season's kind of devalued, and now these guys just kind of go out there and play pickup for 4 quarters and get their paycheck and leave. That's kind of what it is now.
Well, that's the thing, Ant. There's better rivalries at your local park than there is in the damn league right now. All right, that's the problem, bro. I'm telling you. Allen Iverson once said, I ain't no role model, right? And I'm sorry, it is not professional athletes' job to be a upstanding moral citizen. It's their job to be who they want to be. Their job is to entertain, not raise your kids. That's the problem we got going on in the country. Parents do not have the time to raise their kids because everybody's got to work crazy hours. All right. If we can get the nucleus family back together, the NBA wouldn't have to worry about raising your damn kids. The NFL would not have to worry about raising your damn kids. The NHL, the MLB. Why are we looking at athletes as standing role models? And that's exactly what a human being should be. No, that is entertainment.
So you'd rather
Who's
your
the
athletes
biggest?
be scumbags? Is that what you gotta say?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'd rather them do their job, and that's provide entertainment.
I do think
Conor
there's something to
McGregor
be said for
is
being a
not
nice
an
person.
upstanding human being. That's great. If that's who you want to be, that's who you should be. But that should not be what I have to be. The most polarizing, entertaining athlete on the face of the planet for the last decade was Conor McGregor. Nobody in their right mind would sit there and tell you Conor McGregor is an upstanding citizen in any country, whether it's Ireland, whether it's here in the United States. Listen, their job is to sell tickets, to get TV buys, okay? Their job is to not raise your kid. To get good morals, that is on parents first and foremost, the extension of the family second, your aunts, your uncles, your older cousins, what have you, your neighbors, helping out friends and family, teachers, pastors, whatever. It is not the athlete's job to be an upstanding citizen. 'Cause I'll tell you right now, I will tell you right now, if I was ever blessed with that money, sure, I'd do some nonprofit stuff. I'd give to causes that I believe in. I'd speak out on issues that I have a problem with. However, when you see me out there partying and living it up and doing stuff that I am not supposed to be doing on an average Monday because I'm in the club and I'm popping a bottle, you mind your damn business because I earned the right to do that. It is not my job not to have fun in a safe manner that is, let's be honest, I mean, like drinking, it's can be taboo. It's not my job if your son sees me in a video popping a bottle of Hennessy. I'm enjoying myself. Mind your business. And if I get into a scuffle with somebody in a competitive nature out on the court, God damn it, I'm competing. And if that sets a bad example, it's not my fault that little Jimmy or Timmy are going to go out there and throw a haymaker because, Zach on the other side of the damn court said that he ain't shit.
All right, we have reached the social commentary part of the episode, which means it's time to bring it down to a close. So, if you've made it this far, thanks for listening. Listen to Mazz, raise your kids, and a happy New Year's Eve.
And the U.S. government help these people be home more. Give them some damn money.
Happy New Year, everybody, from Mazz and Bads.
Looking forward to a big 2025 with the fellas here. Going to keep things rolling with the pod. We'll be back next week with some wild card weekend preview. I cannot wait. And whatever else the sports world has in store for us in the meantime.
You have been listening to the Mazz and Bad Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.